They'll be hard-pressed to stop Coronado quarterback Gabe Pena, who's surrounded by a big and physical Thunderbird team. The Central Bobcats and El Paso Coronado tee it up in the second round of the playoffs.
Welcome, West Texans, to far West Texas. We're in the Sun Bowl in El Paso, home of the University of Texas at El Paso Miners. But today it's the home of the Coronado Thunderbirds, who take on our Central Bobcats in a second-round playoff game. It's a nice day, as you can see. 51 degrees, partly cloudy, wind coming out of the north at 13 to 22 miles an hour. I'm Roger Smith, joined by Steve Savard here in the booth, our color analyst. And, Steve, what kind of game do you expect from these two teams?
Well, we're not sure what to expect from Coronado. Their head coach, Don Brooks, is hoping his team will show up, the team that beat Hanks last week, but it's been an up-and-down team all season. He feels good about playing at home in front of some home fans here at the Sun Bowl.
Both teams 7-4, a little bit inconsistent. We really don't know exactly who's going to show up, but we're glad to be showing you this game so we can see who does show up. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment. All right, welcome back. They're tossing the coin at midfield as the Bobcats and the T-Birds set to do battle. Coronado's team is out on the field. Bobcats still in the tunnel here at the Sun Bowl. And we do have great conditions compared to yesterday. When we pulled into town, we had sustained winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour. In Juarez, Mexico, just across the freeway from the Sun Bowl, the thickest dust I have ever seen in my life. And we were really worried that the temperature would plunge and we'd have terrible conditions, but it's really okay. What kind of conditions have you seen, Steve, in this stadium? I know we've run the gamut, because some days it's the Sun Bowl, sometimes it's not.
We're lucky today. If we would have had yesterday's conditions, it would have been an adventure to throw the football, but 51 degrees and clear skies, or fairly clear skies, is a break compared to yesterday, and also I think the field should be pretty well dry for the game.
Across the way, you see the few, the proud. We have some Bobcat fans, a pretty decent number. I guess about 200 to 300 have made the long trip down Interstate 10 to be at this ball game. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup. First, for the Bobcat offense. At quarterback, you have Elliott Bowman, number 10, starting for the first time, and behind him, the running back, Benny Jones. His receivers, going from left to right across the Bobcat offensive front, Mark Menchaca, number 85, Andrew Graves, number 82, Benny Dupree, number 87, at one of the inside receivers, but not on the first play. We'll get to that later. And Ryan King. Up front for the Cats at center, Greg Hayes, who's had some illness this week, but he's ready to play today. The guards are David Reddy and Tony Tiarina. And the tackles are Jonathan Casey and Brandon Waters. Now let's look at the Coronado defense. First, the front seven. The linebackers, number 14, Mike Smith, number 9, Silenthius Williams, number 30, Brent Batt. The tackles inside, number 75, Jaime Gomez, Micah Fields, number 62, Jacob Jordan, number 3, and 74, Brian Miles are the ends. In the secondary for the Thunderbirds, the cornerback, Joe Rosillo, number 25. On the other corner, Michael Cooper, number 10. The safeties, Josh Evans and Jordan Fisher. The Bobcats still are not out onto the field, and Coronado is assembling to receive the opening kickoff.
Interesting bit of strategy. The Bobcats won the toss, but deferred the choice to the second half, so Coronado will take the ball to start with.
It's not something you see very often from Dan Gandy. He usually likes to take the football. Now finally, the Bobcats have taken the turf.
Coach Gandy must feel pretty good about his chances to stop Coronado off the bat, pin him in the hole, and get good field position.
Not only that, but I think he might be saying, hey, Elliott Bowman did a great job for us last week, but he's a sophomore, he's inexperienced. Maybe let our defense, who seems to be hot with the shutout last week, let our defense get him good field position so he doesn't have to start a drive in an adverse situation.
Important for Coronado to get off to a good start. They have not been a good come-from-behind team all year. They've been up and down. The last 3 weeks have been a roller coaster ride for them. 3 weeks ago, they beat Andrews 35-0. 2 weeks ago, didn't play well against Burgess in a game for second place in the district. Last week, came back with impressive victory over Hanks. They want to get off to a good start. They have not used to playing come-from-behind football.
It'll be David Johnston kicking it off for the Bobcats. In the middle, as a deep safety there, Gabe Pena, the man who is definitely the best athlete on this team. To his right, number 41, Jody Lanny, and Damon Tanner, nearest you. And here we go from the Sun Bowl. The Bobcats looking to take step number 2 on the road to state. They keep it on the ground, and it's Damon Tanner at the 11. Now it's a reverse. Lanny has it at the 20 and down at the 23. Met head-on by Derek Lopez.
I think Coach Gandy knows that Gabe Pena is a dangerous man. He's obviously not going to kick it deep straight away to him.
Thunderbirds on offense first, and we'll call it the 24. You'll notice that they have running back by committee. They don't have anyone who has a whole lot of yards. They shuffle people in and out of there, get fresh legs. Their running attack is not a juggernaut. Josh Evans is a tailback to open the game. Pena options, and he runs into a lot of trouble. The Bobcats fired up as Jason Holton is the first to arrive, along with Aubrey Mitchell.
Coronado trying to run the option, but the pincher comes in, makes a great play. His job to go to the quarterback, and look at this. He is all over Gabe Pena. 2 guys right there, doesn't even have a chance to make the pitch.
Maybe a wrong read, but because it looked like if he had given the ball to the dive-back, Mike Hinojos, he would have had some room to run. Second down and 12. This Bobcat defense has really come on after a shaky start the first 5-6 weeks of the year. We'll tell you about a point comparison that will amaze you in just a minute. Now it's second down and 12. And the option to the near side. Pena cuts it up and has room, has a first down at the 35.
Talk about last time he may have made the wrong read. That time, absolutely the correct read. He runs the option to the short side of the field and cuts it up inside. Gets the first down.
On both of those first 2 plays, a good push up front and plenty of room to run.
Got a great block from the fullback, Jody Nally, there. That enabled Pena to turn up inside and get 10, 11, 12 yards for the first.
The motion man, Hinojos. Now they pitch it back to Evans. Breaks 1 tackle, but not the second tackle. Gary Morgan, Brett Johnston, Jason Holton, all collaborating. Short gain. Call it 1 yard. Second and 9. Pena had a strange season, Steve. Tell us about that, how he probably didn't think he'd be playing quarterback today, didn't think he'd be playing at all.
Started off as a receiver, hurt his shoulder. Doctor told him he's going to have surgery and be out for the year. Got a second opinion. The second doctor says he doesn't need surgery. He didn't miss a game. They built a special pad for him. About the 3rd game of the season, moved him to quarterback, and he's been their starter there ever since.
Now it gives it to Hinojos, who bobbled it just a little bit, hung on, made a couple of yards, and was driven back by Chad Bishop and John Smith.
Interesting situation now. 3rd and long. They're going to have to put the ball up in the air. Something Coronado is not terribly efficient at. They just as soon keep it on ground. Almost, as you said, a missed handoff there, but good recovery by Hinojos. He still gets a couple of yards.
Last year's quarterback, Stanley Pena, Gabe's brother, probably a little bit better passer. He was all District 1-5A last year. 3rd and a long 5, and the fake toss, and now they give it to the second man through. Michael Cooper breaks the tackle, has a first down across midfield, and driven out of bounds. Brett Johnston risking getting a flag because he brought him down after he was 2 or 3 yards past the boundary.
Shows you that Don Brooks and I are not on the same page. Thought he was going to put up in the air, but he runs a little misdirection counter here. Good blocking, nice run by Michael Cooper.
I'm impressed with the Coronado offensive front. They're doing a fine job.
It's a young offensive front too. Not many seniors up there. In fact, they have it's well loaded. They have a couple of sophomore brothers who could step in, big kids, the Kuhn brothers.
The tackles are Alex Van Osten and Brian Miles. Will tell you who the others are after this play. Eye in the backfield still. Straight drop back by Pena. Now he'll keep it and won't gain anything. Holton, Rondrick Bowman, John Smith call it a sack on first down, 2nd and 11. The guards for the Thunderbirds, Micah Fields, number 62, a two-way player, and Bill Kuhn, the older brother of the sophomore twin Kuhns. And at center, we have a substitution. Josh Law, number 55, had a hyperextended knee, and he's not starting. In his place, John Linsalata. Pena looked like he had the option to run or pass back to Evans. No yardage. In fact, another loss. 2-yard loss, and it'll be 2nd and 13. Aubrey Mitchell disrupting in the backfield.
Yeah, that was an option. First, he's looking for the pass, doesn't see it there. Going to pitch the ball. Great play here by number 52, Michael Prather, I believe.
Yeah.
Great play there to string it out and nail him for a loss. It's 3rd and long, and now they're definitely going to have to pass. I don't think that counter is going to work again.
Brian Chesney in at a wide receiver on the far side. And over here, Michael Cooper one-on-one with Derek Lopez, and they're going to sweep it in a quick forward pass back to Pena, who is well short of the first down as Lopez read it well, didn't follow the receiver deep down the field.
So much for playing things close to the vest today, Roger. Don Brooks has brought out a couple of trick plays early on. This one just doesn't work. Good idea, but too much defense by the Bobcats.
The first pass of the game by Coronado, not thrown by Pena, instead by Josh Evans. Not exactly a conventional forward pass. And now Pena stays on the field to punt it away. Ronald Branch down there along with Ryan King. King calls a fair catch and has it at the 19. That's where the Bobcats will start on offense. We'll be back at the Sun Bowl. We are scoreless. First play for the Bobcats. The inside receiver just for this play on the near side is Jason Holton. Substituting for Benny Dupree goes in motion. Now they work a trap, and up the middle goes Benny Jones for good yardage. This is a play the Bobcat coaches told us about before the game started. Now Holton did what he was supposed to. He went through the middle looking to pick off Micah Fields, who has a reputation as being very aggressive. And I don't think Holton found Fields. He wasn't where they expected Fields to be, but the play still worked. A first down gain on the first play. The Cats have an extra interior lineman using just 3 wideouts instead of the usual 4. This time Benny Jones doesn't get much. And Micah Fields was the man there along with Jacob Jordan.
Big play by Jacob Jordan, hitting the man in the backfield. Coronado likes to run a 26 defense, but Coach Don Brooks told me this week they'd probably be exclusively in a 6-1. Right now they're spread out a little bit, kind of have a 4-3 look, but as the game goes on, the outside linebackers make it closer to the line of scrimmage. It may look more like a 6-1.
Mike Smith, number 14, one of the outside linebackers, playing a little more inside than normal. Quick pitch, Benny Jones. He breaks the tackle, gets a first down, gets almost into Coronado territory, but there's a flag down in the flat over on the far side, about even with the line of scrimmage. And the officials point back toward the original line of scrimmage, and it looked like this might come back.
Seen something out of the Bobcats that Don Brooks didn't think he'd see, a tight end. And that time they run the option to the weak side, the wide side of the field.
And it's not really a player. Oh, it's offsides against Coronado, and the play will stand as the Bobcats don't take it. Now, they do have a position of tight end in there, but the person who's playing it is not really a tight end. I believe that's Brandon Waters. If it's not, it's Ryan Matthews. Right, Brandon Waters is playing outside left tackle in the tight end position. Straight drop back Bowman. Screen to Mark Menchaca. Makes a cut to get inside the 45 to the 43. Michael Cooper, pretty good for the Lakers for a long time, comes up from cornerback to make the play.
Tell you, so far for a young quarterback, this is exactly how you would script it. Run the ball with efficiency, then throw a nice little screen pass, pick up some big yards. Mike Smith comes in the picture here, just not under control enough to make the play. Turns out to be a nice game for the Bobcats.
And the play calls for an easy pass for Elliott Bowman. Easy to complete, get his confidence going. And now he's going to drop back and pass deep. Ryan King is open and has it for a touchdown. No flags. Elliott Bowman, who scored 14 touchdowns this year, has now thrown for his second.
Coronado's Joe Rosillo beaten. He's a man on the island. It's tough to play cornerback at any level, especially if the pass is thrown that well, but he's just beaten one-on-one.
And the pass was a little bit underthrown, but King had him beaten so badly that he was able to wait for it and make the easy catch. David Johnston on for the extra point. He missed the first one last week against Amarillo Tascosa, and he missed the first one against Odessa Permian in the final game of the regular season. A flag flies. someone on the left side of the Bobcat line moved before the snap. And the snap never happened.
Absolutely perfect way for Elliott Bowman to start the game. First drive, running down Coronado's throat for a touchdown. I'm sure the butterflies are gone for Elliott Bowman.
The thing about last week was he had no time for butterflies. Suddenly, Ben Montgomery's hurt, and he's rushed into the game and doesn't have a chance to think about the magnitude of the task. He does very well. This time he's had 6 days to think about a pressure playoff situation, and it doesn't seem to bother him one bit.
I think a nice job by Coach Dan Gandy with the play calling, too. Everything's safe. Picked up a couple of first downs, threw a screen pass, had the confidence, and then laid one out for Ryan King.
What amounts to a 25-yard field goal for Johnston. As 6:14 remains in the first quarter. It's up, and it's no good. He missed it off to the right. So it's 6-0 Bobcats. 6-4 coming into the game was 9 for 25, 177 yards, and 1 touchdown. That was the one to Benny Dupree in last week's playoff game, and here he hits Ryan King with another deep pass. And King, very dependable, easily the most productive receiver on this team. Now, with Bowman at quarterback, the Bobcats do lose some production at receiver. He caught 22 passes for 512 yards and scored 7 touchdowns that way. But he's still producing. Johnston keeps the kickoff on the ground again. Pena had a shot at it, but it's Jody Lanny, and he gives it back to Pena, and Pena has one man to beat. Johnston, the kicker, tripped him up at the 35, and he fell forward to the 38.
Johnston just made the play that saved 6 points. If he's not there, Gabe Pena's gone, because Gabe Pena does have very good speed for Coronado.
Pena is as much a threat as anyone on this team. As we mentioned in the first series, there's no outstanding running back for Coronado, no one with over 500 yards after 11 games. In 91, Mikey Nohos had 432 to lead the team, not spectacular numbers. Mike Hinojos carries up the middle on the first down play for a short gain. They seem determined to keep the ball on the ground so far.
This is a big drive for Coronado. As we said at the top of the show, Coronado not a classic comfort behind football team. They don't have a lot of power or strike capability through the air. They need to keep this one close. They can't fall behind by 2 or 3 touchdowns early.
Now they switch to the power I, and they send the man in motion. That's Joe Rosillo. Second man through, Jody Lanny hit by Holton, and then his friends come in. And that'll create a 3rd and short situation, 3rd and 2 at the 45.
So good old power football, what UTEP football coach David Lee likes to call good old smash mouth football. Problem is San Angelo doing the smashing at the line of scrimmage brings up 3rd and about 2 yards for the T-Birds.
The first short yardage situation, there's Jason Holton. Had his first offensive play of the year to start the game. And he's been on defense all year long. Pena gives to Lanny, who slips, and he may not have the first down. Gary Morgan held him there. So I call him Jody Lanny. It's Jody Nally.
Jody, now I think Jody is going to be a little bit short. It was one of those John Madden right foot, left foot spots, and he gave him the left foot spot. It is going to be fourth and short.
And the Thunderbirds are sending the punting team onto the field. Now, if Coach Brooks is anything like Coach Gandy, you can't assume this is going to be a punt.
So far, we've seen Coach Brooks reach into his bag of tricks. Who knows? They better. The Bobcats need to be alert on this one.
Pena waiting for the snap. The kick's away. Ronald Branch, fair catch inside his 30, and the Cats have it for the second time. A flag goes down as Branch was hit by the defender, Mike Smith.
Mike Smith going to be guilty of not giving him enough room to make the catch.
So Central's field position will be about 5 yards better. Central's had some success running the ball with Benny Jones early. Coronado defense allowed El Paso Hanks only 30 yards rushing in last week's win. And Brooks doesn't like the call. I think he sees that as kind of a chintzy one.
Well, with the penalty, Coronado nets only about 16, 17 yards on the kick. That's not much in terms of field position.
The Cats take the field now in their standard 4 wideout situation. Bowman counterplayed to Benny Jones, and he struggled forward, made most of that on his own, got about 4. Cats offense very prolific, leading the state with about 433.5 yards per game, 4,769 total yards on the season. And let's give credit where credit is due. Ben Montgomery, who can't play today, he accounted for more than 3,100 all-purpose yards, throwing and running, and 34 touchdowns throwing and running. Bowman, under pressure, gets away from it. Now he's probably just going to throw this one away, and he does. So he'll face his first must-pass situation, 3rd down and 6. Now, we have seen some 3rd and longs where the coach has decided to run with it, but Gandy doesn't mind putting it up. Flag down on that one. An eligible receiver downfield, and that'll back up the Cats, and also loss of down.
Should be loss of down. Good pressure on that play in a blitz. Weak side blitz by junior Brent Batt. He put the pressure on Elliott Bowman, and hey, he's a sophomore, but heads up play to go ahead and throw it out of bounds. Don't risk an interception.
He did the right thing. In fact, that play started to develop a lot like one against Amarillo Tascosa on maybe the 3rd or 4th drive after he came in, where he panicked. He ran back a la Bob Greasy about 29 yards and threw a ball that was intercepted, but fortunately for the Bobcats, intercepted out of bounds. Now he's been holding it a long time and throws off the hands of Michael Cooper. Ryan King, the intended receiver, but he was double covered by Cooper and Jordan Fisher.
Great coverage by Coronado that time. They like to play a 2-deep zone most of the time. Don Brooks told me, though, they will go to a 3-deep zone when they see the Bobcats line up in trips, 3 receivers to one side.
3 and out for the Cats on their second possession, 3:21 left in the first period. 2 safeties back, Michael Cooper and Gabe Pena, to take the Brett Johnston punt as the Suns start to come out here in the Sun Bowl. No pressure, gets it away. Oh, there's a mistake. Cooper lets it bounce one time, has to retreat, and ends up with a punt return that nets nothing. Brett Johnston tackled him just out of bounds, and it'll be 1st and 10 Coronado at the 25. We'll be back after this timeout. It's the Central Bobcats leading the Thunderbirds 6-0. Defense came up with a good series. Now they're just down 6 and getting the ball back with a chance to tie or move ahead. Pena gives it up the middle to Nally. Gets 2, Aubrey Mitchell, Jason Holton, high and low, respectively.
We talked about the loss of their leading rusher, tailback Caleb Quinn. The big blow there is he had the best speed on the team. There's not a lot of breakaway threats other than Pena in the backfield. Quinn did give Coronado the breakaway threat. He is not eligible as of Friday afternoon.
The face of a lot of teams changed this week because that's when the grade reports came out. For the Bobcats, they lost 2 players, but they were not players that play very much. So they were really unaffected. First man through, Hinojos gets 2 more yards. Casey Height stopped him. I was thinking we might see a little bit more passing from Coronado because Gabe Pena last week against Hanks, 13 out of 19 for 206 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
It looks like both teams running the trap to death so far, and it's not working very well so far for Coronado.
Here they face a 3rd and 6. 6-man front for the Bobcats. As usual, Pena fakes one and rolls out. Now he's in real trouble and skies it. Intercepted by Gary Morgan at the 42. Here he comes back down the field and out of bounds in Coronado territory at the 26. Poor decision by Pena.
Pena's a senior, but he looked like the sophomore on that one. Just as we said, complimented Elliott Bowman for having the presence of mind to throw the football out of bounds. Gabe Pena did something he knows better. He threw it up in the air for grabs, and he paid for it.
For Gary Morgan, his 2nd interception of the year, he joins Ronald Branch and Elliott Bowman, or I'm not Elliott Bowman, Rondrick Bowman, his cousin. All those players have 2 interceptions each.
Pena's looking for the receiver over the middle, doesn't see any good coverage by the Bobcats, and there's the mistake. Don't throw the ball up for grabs. It's too good a football team not to make the interception.
Casey Height and John Smith applying the pressure is on 1st down. Benny Dupree dives for it, incomplete. The Bobcats really could put Coronado in a position to doubt itself right here, because 6 times in history has Central met a playoff team from El Paso. All 6 times Central has won the game. You don't want to fall behind 2 touchdowns. It just gets Coronado thinking about what's happened every time they've met someone from San Angelo. Bowman, options up the field, and he had no one to pitch to that time. I think that play was designed where Benny Dupree didn't run a pass pattern. He stays back in the backfield, and if Bowman fakes the dive and comes down the line enough, then Benny Dupree becomes the pitch man. But it didn't develop that way.
Good defense by Coronado. They need a stand right now. They need to force the Bobcats into a field goal situation here. As you said, they don't want to fall down 2 touchdowns right now.
3rd down and 7, and the Cats use the tight end, Brandon Waters, on the near side. Still the single setback and 3 wide receivers. Looking for Ryan King on a fade pattern, and he almost had it picked off by Michael Cooper. Good body position by Cooper, and King was never really open.
A very little chance of that one to be complete. As you said, good coverage man-to-man by Cooper, and then they also had help from the weak safety coming over, number 23, Jordan Fisher. And the Bobcats are lucky this pass wasn't intercepted.
Bobcats will go for it, apparently, on 4th down. There's Dan Gandy with his hands on his knees. Had a very short conversation with Bowman as we face 4th and 6. In the same formation as the previous play. Over the middle, incomplete, and Coronado takes over again. Bowman was trying to hit 82 Andrew Graves, who happens to be the son of the superintendent of San Angelo Schools.
Graves was open. If Bowman would have thrown the ball crisply a little quicker, he would have picked up the 1st down. He waited a little too long, and Coronado had a chance to come up and make the play. I think it was either Jordan Fisher or Josh Evans at free safety who came over, made the hit. The ball led just a little bit too much. That was Josh Evans coming over from the safety position.
On the play before, they tried the 1 receiver side, and this time the 2 receiver side, and the coverage was good both times. Coronado shifts out of the eye. Hinojos takes it up the middle. Holton wasn't blocked and hit him. 1 yard gain, 2nd and 9.
Big play by Jason Holton. He converges right on the ball carrier. That play had no chance from the beginning.
There we just saw the patented push that every coach in the country uses when he sends a player out on the field. As Brian Chesney, a little extra impetus as he heads for the huddle.
I think they're hoping that that'll give him a little extra impetus as the ball snapped.
Back to the I formation. Pena drops back. There looked like there might have been an offsides call, but there's no flag. And now we have our 2nd interception. It's Ronald Branch who gets the tip ball. A correction on what I said before. There is a flag. We may have a Bobcat offside.
Interception made by number 7, Ronald Branch.
And the Coronado players celebrate. It does appear to be an offside penalty on the Bobcats.
That's a big break for the T-Birds. Part of the problem today is the T-Birds have had terrible field position. They're playing the whole game on their half of the field. You see
Aubrey Mitchell.
Aubrey Mitchell got a quick jump here. Paying a good job to elude the rush, but then again, he's a little careless to where he's throwing the ball. Could have been picked off twice. Goes through the hands there, and then finally the pick is made.
Now it's 2nd down and 3. And if this flurry of mistakes for Coronado goes away and they find themselves down only 6-0, they have to be satisfied with that and think maybe it could still be their day. Pena quarterback sneak. That was effective. 4 or 5 yards up the middle.
Sometimes simple is best. That's a case where Don Brooks says, I'm not going to risk it anymore. Let's just run a sneak and take advantage of the offsides penalty.
The first quarter has come to an end. That was pretty quick. The Bobcats have themselves a 6-0 lead on the strength of a touchdown pass from Elliott Bowman to Ryan King. All right, we'll be back at the Sun Bowl, 2nd round playoff game. The Bobcats ahead, but the margin is slim, 6-0. For the 2nd quarter, no real advantage or disadvantage for either team. It's very calm here, hardly any wind. And Coronado takes over trailing 6-0. They survive 1 turnover. so it does lead to a score. And they survive another turnover because it was nullified by a penalty. Pena trying to pass, but has all kinds of company that he didn't want in the backfield, and he goes down. Kyle Doty and Jason Holton, each getting half a sack.
Jason Holton's been all over this football field so far for the Bobcats. There's a case where Pena just didn't have a chance to let his receivers finish the pattern. Holton in on him too quickly.
The Bobcats have changed pitchers. Doty goes out, and Rondrick Bowman, the cousin of Elliott, comes in on the left side. Second and 14, Rosillo in motion. Up the middle to Nally. He gets the yardage back. It came from the sack plus about 3 more to bring up 3rd and 7.
Jody Nally, just a sophomore, he's assuming a big role today because Caleb Quinn, the normal starter at tailback, is out. He's academically ineligible. Nally's a tough runner. He'll give you a second, third effort, but again, he's lacking the breakaway speed that Caleb Quinn has.
Nally has some strength there. He was dragging John Smith, and it takes a lot to drag John Smith.
Just a sophomore, too. He's going to get better the next 2 years for Coach Don Brooks.
Ronald Branch following the receiver, Rosillo, and now that play is broken up by flags and by disruption in the backfield. Rosillo started in motion to the far side, and as soon as the ball was snapped, he started coming back the other way. I think that play was designed to get him the ball.
It's another counter trap there. I don't know how many times Coach Brooks can go to the well with that play, but they're going to have to eventually throw the ball with some success and find a way to get Gabe Pena, not Stanley Pena, that was his brother, get Gabe Pena some time to throw the football.
And last week, Rosillo was the popular receiver, caught a couple of touchdown passes, and he blocked a punt for a touchdown. And the T-Birds got 3 field goals from Will Steinman, whom we haven't seen yet, in a 30-21 victory. Pena draw play. Nally goes nowhere. The Bobcats will get the ball back.
3rd and long, I don't think Coach Brooks right now feels real good about his passing game. Obviously, he's going with the draw, he's going with traps. Bobcats not fooled one bit on this play.
Credit Casey Height with the tackle, and back to receive the punt from Pena, Ronald Branch and Ryan King. This is his best punt of the day. Fair catch by King at the 30. That one a 38-yard punt. Easily the best punt of the day by Pena. Bobcats will take over there. Looked like the Cats had a mind to block that one. They came with a little more pressure.
They're getting close, fairly close, closer every time to Stanley Pena. Gabe Pena, excuse me. Got to get out of the habit of Stanley Pena, but it'll be interesting to see Coach Gandy's play calling here. Maybe he might want to get Ryan King hooked up one-on-one again if he could. With the Coronado corners, it worked once.
Our viewers know Coach Gandy well. The bigger the stakes, the more likely he is to get fancy, call something unusual. So don't be a bit surprised. There goes Bowman on the option. He has Dupree as a pitch man, thought about it, but kept the ball and gains about 8 yards.
This is a case where Coronado is skiing on fullback there, I think 31.
Benny Jones.
Benny Jones. They let the quarterback run loose. Mike Smith, a little indecision outside. He lets Elliott Bowman gets free for a big gain, about 8 yards.
Very persistent number 3, Jacob Jordan, who was chasing from the beginning and never did catch up. Michael Cooper made the tackle. Bobcats second and short. Might be a good time to air it out, but instead they give it to Benny Jones. Quick trap up the middle, and he has the first down. This is kind of a quiet game. 8:53 left in the first half. We've had 1 touchdown. And the officials aren't sure it's a first down, so they're going to call in the sticks for the measurement.
Interesting. This crowd easily could fit inside the stadium at Coronado High School. However, every time the T-Birds get a chance to play at home in the playoffs, they opt to play here at Sun Bowl. Coach Don Brooks thinks it gives the kids a little added atmosphere. I'm not so sure with 45,000, 48,000 empty seats. It gives you a whole lot of atmosphere, but T-Birds seem to like to play here on the turf at the Sun Bowl.
Well, they're either empty seats or they're fans very cleverly disguised as empty seats.
Great disguises out here today.
We don't have anything like the Sun Bowl in El Paso, and should the Bobcats win this game, they do get to host the 3rd round playoff. 3 wide outs, the tight end back in for the Bobcats. And it was good for a first down. Bowman drops back, might be trying to set up a screen, does. Caught by Menchaca. Makes one move, gets 5 yards, 10 yards, and out of bounds. There's Rosillo making the tackle. The Bobcats are moving it consistently when they don't hurt themselves with penalties.
Well-designed screen pass. Elliott Bowman focuses his attention on his receivers to the right, comes back with the screen to the left. He was wide open. Number 30, Brent Batt, was in position to make a play. He slipped it. It was a little wet out there. We had a lot of rain here in El Paso yesterday. Looks like it could be another first down for the Bobcats. Just short.
Sometimes second and short is better than a new 1st and 10. Gives you some more options, and any team worth its salt should be able to pick up the very short yardage on 3rd down if whatever they try on 2nd down doesn't work. Bowman Jones, he had to fight for it. If he made it, then he certainly deserved the first down. 66, Eric Colasar made the tackle.
Good play by Colasar. He was in the backfield right from the snap. He prevented the Bobcats, looks like, from getting the first down, although they're going to have a look.
There was a wide receiver from Michigan several years ago named Colasar, and those look like Michigan uniforms that the Thunderbirds wear.
To my knowledge, no relation, though.
The maize and blue. First down by the narrowest of margins.
Well, this game so far has been dominated by Central, and I think Coronado right now has to feel pretty lucky. They're only down 6-0, but they're going to need to get some field position today because it doesn't look like they're going to be able to put up some sustained drives against the Bobcats.
Now, the book on this game, because Bowman wasn't as good a throwing quarterback as Ben Montgomery, we'd see more of the veer, and we have seen that. But we've probably seen more passing than we expected from the Bobcats. And they've been using Benny Jones a lot. Quick pass, complete, Andrew Graves. The good first down play to pick up about 8 yards.
Bobcats using their double twin set. No one out there on the receiver. Graves picks up about an 8-yard gain. Mike Smith not quick enough to get out there. It'd be interesting to see if they stay in the double twins as the game progresses. If Coronado doesn't walk their outside linebacker Mike Smith out and get on them to try to prevent that hot route.
And Central might be trying to set up something for later. Pop a few more of those quick ones, and then pump fake there and go deep. Bowman gives it to, no, he keeps it. Now he pitches out, and the ball is loose. Coronado has a chance to get it back. They do. No, they don't, not yet. And now it's Benny Jones still with the ball, and the official is standing at the Central 49 calling the ball dead and saying it belongs to the Thunderbirds. I'm not so sure about that one.
I'm not sure. I didn't see possession at all there by either team. But I tell you, that's the danger of running the option. It's also the danger of running the option with a young man who hasn't had a lot of experience and who's a sophomore. You see Oklahoma Sooners botch the option play. Certainly you're going to see high schoolers do it once in a while.
They may have ruled that because it was a lateral and because it was behind the line of scrimmage that it couldn't be advanced. And Rosillo did pick up the ball and just wasn't allowed to go anywhere with it. So that's where Coronado will start the game, or start the new drive.
I'm not sure Coach Gandy agrees with that call, but apparently the officials thought that Rosillo did have possession for the 2 or 3 steps he took before he fumbled it again.
When you use that option with a one-back offense and your dive back is gone and you have to use a wide out as a pitch man, it's tough to get that timing down because the quarterback is already moving toward the sideline with the ball as Pena carries for a gain of 2, knocked down by Prather first. And then that wide receiver who's out there has to change his direction and get going on a speed that's even with the quarterback and the pitch relationship isn't always there.
They say it's timing. It's working together over a full season, and that's something Elliott Bowman and his backs have not had a chance to do. It's tough to pick up the option in 1 or 2 weeks.
2nd and 9. Pena still hasn't been throwing very much since Cooper in motion to the far side and gives it to the second man through, Josh Evans, his best run of the day, breaking a couple of tackles. Not quite a first down. He's at the Central 41. Chad Bishop tripped him up.
Some fresh legs in the Coronado backfield. We haven't seen much of Josh Evans. This is a good run. Good effort. Spins and gets about 3 or 4 extra yards. Coronado still needs to convert on 3rd down, and we've got another one right here.
The Bobcats stay with their usual 6-man front. spreading out the players a lot. It's Evans again, and he had the first down before he had any contact. And now Coronado offense seems to be getting some momentum that they couldn't find before.
Great trap block by the right guard, number 62, Micah Fields. He's going to come across, throw the key block that enables Evans to get the first down. Watch Fields come across the line of scrimmage. Great trap right there. That busts Evans through for the big gain.
And everyone else was blocking the head-up person because Fields had to go several steps before he ran into any contact. Pena, quarterback sneak again. This time the Bobcats figure it out, a gain of about 2. There's a lot of wildlife on this Coronado offense. Now they could conceivably have, let's see, 3 coons and 2 bats on the offense at one time. You have Brian Batt, who's the starting tight end. Brent Batt is the backup fullback. Starting at left guard is Bill Coon, number 73, and the twin sophomore brothers, 76 Mike Coon and 72 Matt Coon, are the respective backup tackles.
2 sets of twins in this Coronado team.
Pena options, decides to keep. Bad choice. Did the ball come out?
Yes, it did. Coronado's on it, though.
Coronado will keep it. They lose 2, so it's 3rd and 10. Josh Evans saves the day for the T-Birds.
Coronado runs the loaded option to the short side of the field. No fake in there. The fullback is blocking the pincher there. The ball comes free, but fortunately Coronado was able to jump on it. The loaded option as opposed to the regular option, there's no dive fake. The fullback instead is going out and blocking on the guy who may have the quarterback in the pitcher's responsibility.
We haven't seen any evidence of it yet, but the field is a little bit slick. We had some rain showers last night. This is hard carpet, and the footing is not the best. This time Pena has time, throws in the flat, complete, Enojos, beg your pardon, out of bounds, and he should have a first down at the 26. If not, he'll have a very short yardage situation on 4th down.
I thought he had picked up the first down. I'm not so sure they gave him the correct spot there. Nice job by Pena to hold it to the right time. He dumps it to Enojos. He gets outside and looks like he's awfully close to the first down stick.
What might have made the difference, now fundamentally he was doing the right thing by carrying it under his left arm away from the defense that was hitting him, but carrying it under his right arm might have gotten the better spot, maybe a 1.5 feet further down the field.
4th and short yardage here for Coronado. You know they're going for it. They could use a first down here. They would like to get some points on the board. 4:30 to go in the first half.
And they're bigger than a lot of teams out of El Paso. So just because this is not a team from District 458 does not mean that they're not capable of doing the job. A timeout is called by Coronado, and they send the whole offense over to the sidelines to talk to Coach Brooks.
Talk about this is a bigger team than most teams in El Paso.
We'll take a break while they talk about this 4th and short situation. Score, Bobcats 6, Thunderbirds nothing. Personnel for this 4th and short situation appears to be about the same. Across the front you have Michael Baker, John Smith, Casey Height, and Jason Holton. Aubrey Mitchell and Kyle Doty are the pinchers. And in the secondary still you have Bishop, Lopez, Johnston, and Ronald Branch. Enojos and Evans are the backs behind Pena. They give it to Enojos, and he has the first down, but the ball squirts out, and Chad Bishop is on it. No, it's not a turnover. There goes the ball skittering toward the end zone, but they have called it dead, and it's a first down for Coronado at the 23.
They're going to rule it down. I tell you, Coronado's had some trouble with the quarterback and running back exchange. More problems there. It looked like Mike Enojos got off the ball so quickly that Gabe Pena almost didn't get him the ball in time, and he really didn't have possession of the ball. Here it is. He's almost in front of him when he hands it to him. He never had complete control, and I think the referees may have given Coronado a break there. That looked like definitely a fumble.
He didn't get that left elbow, the inside elbow, up high enough, and ball and elbow came together, and that's not the best way to grab control of it. Evans, deep pitch, has pressure, tries to turn it up, and does for about 3. John Smith got him. And we have ourselves a ball game.
I'm a little surprised Don Brooks hasn't tried to throw the ball at all on first down. He's usually in the 3rd and long passing situation has been fairly predictable. I wonder what he might do if he opened it up on first down and threw the ball.
T-Birds will have to make another first down to see if that's a possibility. Michael Cooper, motion far side, give to Evans. Good blocking up front, but the hole closes quickly. And it'll be 3rd and 3.
Another good block by the right guard, Micah Fields here. Good recovery in the secondary to come up and stuff. It looked like it could have been another good game for Josh Evans.
We'll call it 3rd and 4. The line of scrimmage is the 18. And another unimaginative play call as Evans moves forward for maybe a yard. Aubrey Mitchell tackled him. And I was just about to say that Will Steinman kicked 3 field goals last week of 32, 19, and 34 yards, which is fine. But the problem is that says you're stalling out inside the 20-yard line. And it looks like the Thunderbirds have done it again, apparently lining up to try a 35-yarder.
Good defense by the Bobcats on 3rd down. And hey, they're lining up and coming after Coronado because right now they're not respecting the pass. There's no reason to. Don Brooks is not putting the ball in the air at all.
Pena holds, and the ball has the distance. It's up, and it's good. The Thunderbirds have cut the lead in half with 2:24 to go before the end of the second period. We'll be back here at the Sun Bowl. Bobcats on top 6-3. 2-minute offense, more than most schools do. And now, I guess we can call it a 2-minute offense. There's 2:24 left in the half to see just how wide open they will be with Elliott Bowman at quarterback as opposed to Ben Montgomery. Ben Montgomery had some very impressive 2-minute drives to score near the end of halves this year.
So if you're Dan Gandy, you feel good about the way your team has played, but if you're Don Brooks, you feel very fortunate that the score is 6-3 because they've not played very well, to be honest with you, and they certainly haven't been very imaginative on offense, but they're right in there.
Will Steinman kicks it away. It's high and it's short. Comes down to Lopez at the 16. It's not Lopez, it's Benny Jones. Good return. 38-yard line. And still, Elliott Bowman has not had any adverse situations in which to work. He's had good field position all last week and throughout the game so far. On the kickoff return, the clock runs down to 2:18 left in the half, and the Bobcats now have 62 yards to go if they want a touchdown before the break.
Well, I can certainly see why in this first half, Benny Jones amassed nearly 1,000 yards this year. Hard runner, quick feed. He certainly runs through tackles. Good play by Brian Batt to prevent an even bigger return.
Albert LePay and Michael Cooper both had a shot at him but missed. Shotgun for Bowman. Rolls out and throws into the flat. Complete. Out of bounds is Benny Dupree.
Coronado is certainly anticipating a 2-minute drill because they have gone to, it looks like, a nickel defense. They've spread things out a little bit.
Benny Dupree comes into this game averaging 19.4 yards per catch. The only player on the Central roster with a better yards per catch average is the man who just threw it to him, Elliott Bowman. 23.3 yards for a catch, but his catching days are over for this year unless they pull off some kind of gadget play where he gets it back from someone. Bowman throws, a missed connection, and it's intercepted. It's not Albert LePay, it's Rosillo. Joe Rosillo runs it back to the 33-yard line, and another turnover by the Bobcats, and instead of an opportunity to extend their 6-3 lead, they might find themselves behind at the half.
Coronado sitting back in a prevent 2-deep zone defense. Rosillo has the underneath coverage in the flat. He steps right in front of the pass. Makes a nice return. T-Birds in good field position. They can at least tie this thing before halftime. If Don Brooks decides to throw it, open up the offense, who knows?
Benny Dupree ran a down and out, and Elliott Bowman expected him to run a down and in. 2 minutes left in a half as they get that play off, but again, conservative play calling. They're not going to throw it, apparently. And they are huddling.
One thing Don Brooks has in his favor, Will Steinman, as we just saw, he has a good leg, just kicked a 35-yard field goal. He probably figures 5 or 10 more yards, and they can at least tie this thing at halftime. And if he goes in tied at halftime, he's got to feel very good about the effort.
The T-Birds, according to the scoreboard, have 3 timeouts left. The clock is running at 1:33 as we snap the ball. And it's an option. There goes Pena, breaking a couple of tackles inside the 20, down to about the 10-yard line, and a late flag. They may get Aubrey Mitchell or Brett Johnson for hitting Pena after he went out of bounds.
I believe this one's coming back. I believe it was an illegal block. May have been Well, we'll take a look at the replay and find out just who is the culprit here. But good effort by Pena. He fakes the dive, gets outside here, makes a nice move to get out to the flat right by the sideline. I think it is Brian Batt, the tight end, who threw an illegal block right there to help spring him.
I think Chad Bishop was hit in the back, and that might be the call. In fact, it is. And that was a needless hit. It didn't help the play one bit.
You're right, illegal block in the back, and Pena had already beaten that man. He was not going to make the tackle.
Michael Baker, number 76 for the Bobcats, was in the backfield, and a lot of quarterbacks with less athletic ability than Pena would have been stopped right there. Now we have an official timeout.
Pena is a good athlete, as we talked about. He's more of a threat to run the ball than he is pass. His brother Stanley last year was an outstanding passer as well. But with Caleb Quinn out, Pena is probably their biggest breakaway threat, probably has the best speed in the Coronado backfield, and that is a first down for the T-Birds.
The big gain minus the big penalty. A difference of 10 yards, and that is the first down. So with still 3 timeouts to go and a minute 22 on the clock, Coronado works from the central 25. Joe Rosillo out wide here to the near side, one-on-one coverage with Ronald Branch. Pena keeps after faking to Oscar Lopez, the dive back. And it's 2nd and 7, the clock running, 1:11 to go. Damon Tanner in with a play. Out comes Art Gonzalez. And no apparent hurry by the T-Birds.
Aubrey Mitchell, the pincher, not fooled by the dive there. He stays with his man. Stanley Pena makes the play, only about a 3-yard gain for Coronado.
Lopez stays in at fullback. They give it to Nally. He advances it to the 16. It appears to be short of a first down. We're inside a minute at 44 seconds, and the clock stops as Coronado uses its first time out of the half.
Nally, sophomore, showing a little good quickness, gets through the hole, gets close to a first down. This has been good clock management by Coronado. There's 44 ticks left on the clock, and the T-Birds still have 2 timeouts left.
With the timeout, we will take one ourselves. It's 6-3 momentum the Bobcat defense had with the shutout last week. Has to be wavering just a little bit as they're in danger of falling behind at the half to El Paso Coronado. Nally up the middle again, has the first down. That will stop the clock while they move the chains. The clock is at 41 right now. Coronado quickly huddles.
Good move by Don Brooks. He knows he has time to go ahead and huddle and regroup because they're going to stop the clock and move the chains. He still has 2 timeouts left. They have plenty of opportunity getting in the end zone before this half is over.
It's running again. They'll get the play underway less than 10 seconds after it was reset. Fake handoff. Pena keeps. Pena has it inside the 5 to the 3. The ball came out, but he was down. Benny Jones, who normally plays just offense, is in at pincher, and he dragged him down. Saved the touchdown, really, because he was within one little trip of getting in there. Timeout Coronado.
Having a lot of success on this drive with the option. Gabe Pena keeps it and makes a nice gain. Say Coronado may not have needed to use a timeout there. They had the clock stop and move the chains anyway for a first down, but I guess Don Brooks wanted to regroup and talk about maybe he's going to have to call a couple of plays, I would think, in the huddle right here if the first one's not successful, to go ahead and save his last time out for a possible field goal try.
Michael Baker had one foot, Benny Jones had the other, and maybe Coronado took a timeout earlier in the half because they've used a couple here on this series, and now the scoreboard shows that they have none left.
Maybe I shouldn't give Don Brooks such good credit for clock management and timeout management. He obviously is calling 2 plays in the huddle. There's 22 seconds left. Plenty of time to get off a couple of plays and still stop the clock, maybe with throwing the ball on the ground and get Will Stein on for a field goal attempt.
Well, maybe he was operating with the same information we were, and he looked up at the scoreboard and figured he had another one to use. But with 22 seconds and no timeout, there aren't that many options. They need to score on this play or the next one. Pena rolls out, throws in the back of the end zone. Caught for a touchdown by Brian Batt.
Brian Batt wide open all along. I thought Gabe Pena may have held it too long. It was one of those plays where the ball was in the air forever. Brian Batt, the ball probably looked like an air balloon. It was so big. He was wide open.
He did have some time to think about it before it came down. With the Bobcats playing on that play kind of a Jerry Glanville-style defense, a lot of attacking on the quarterback, but someone running free in the secondary. That was just the right play to call in that situation, because if you run it up the middle and 22 seconds are left, flag down on the extra point try. If you run it up the middle and it doesn't work, you might have a problem getting a play off before the clock runs out. On a play like that, if bad is covered, you simply throw it out of bounds and try again.
Yeah, exactly. Good play calling. I tell you, Don Brooks was conservative again on that drive, but it sure worked. He used the option, both the dive option and the loaded option, very well. Gabe Pena with a lot of yardage on that drive.
They back him up 5, and Pena kneels at the 15, so 25 yards on the extra point try by Will Steinman. Very consistent. That one looks good, and it is not good. Missed it off to the right. We've had 2 missed extra points, and the scoreboard is multiples of 3, 9-6. Thunderbirds on top with 18 seconds to go in the half. Bobcats offensively have done very well with their line play, blocked well, but some of the execution hasn't been there. Some turnovers, and they go from 6-0 up to 9-6 down unless they can put something together in 18 seconds.
Big play of the first half so far. Joe Rosillo's interception on the last Bobcat drive. That set up the Coronado touchdown and really gave the T-Birds their first good field position of the half, and they took advantage going in the end zone.
Elliott Bowman and the receivers working as hard as they can to get the passing game coordinated, but there's just no substitute for playing 11 games together, and I think that is what caused that interception by Rosillo.
Don Brooks felt good, he told me this week, in the fact that he was sorry that Ben Montgomery was not going to be able to play. You're sorry any young man doesn't have the opportunity to play because of injury, but he felt much better about his team's chances playing because Montgomery wasn't going to be healthy.
Steinman keeps it on the ground. Doesn't matter if this is... Picked up at the 5-yard line, apparently, by Aubrey Mitchell, and he gets it 2 yards and fumbles away the ball. And Coronado has it at the 1-yard line.
Big break for the T-Birds right here. Big break. Big hit put on
Aubrey Mitchell.
On Aubrey Mitchell, who was having trouble. Looked like he had possession finally. Then somebody came down and stuck him. Ball came loose. Talk about an opportunity. First and goal at the 1, but there's only 8 seconds left. He's got to throw a pass right here. And if it's not completed, at least to stop the clock and get Will Steinman on for another field goal attempt.
The very definition of a gang tackle. Mitchell thinking, well, I need to pick it up and do something with it.
Looks like he's going to pick it up and finally have possession. Here comes a big hit. Joni Nally in there. I think Michael Cooper's the guy that delivers the blow. Puts his hat on the ball, comes loose. Hey, Don Brooks is not going to take any chances. Well, maybe he is. He sent Will Steinman on. Now he's bringing him off.
Might have sent him on just as a decoy to make Central think field goal attempt. But we will apparently have one offensive play. Power I formation. Here come the Thunderbirds with a perfect opportunity. Josh Evans in for the touchdown.
Well, that's risky play calling by Don Brooks, because if Josh Evans does not get in the end zone, they don't score. They don't have a chance for Will Steinman to come on. Don Brooks takes a gamble. It pays off. Good old power football on the power eye. Josh Evans takes it over from a yard out. And the complexion of this game has changed drastically in the last 4 or 5 minutes of this half.
You're right. Even if they had bribed the officials, there's no way they could have gotten the ball set up and ready for play in time to spike it and stop the clock.
Mikey Nohos, good block, leading the way for Josh Evans in the end zone.
And Will Steinman, not good on this extra point either. That was even further off to the right. So we continue with the 6-point increments. And it's 15-6 Thunderbirds, who have come on strong since giving up that early touchdown to Central. 5 seconds left in the half, and the Bobcats have to see just how mature they are and what they're made of. They did not expect to be down at the half of this team.
Talk about turnovers. Turnovers, something that's played Coronado all year. Don Brooks is worried about how many times his team has put the ball on the ground, how many times his team has fumbled. But today the Bobcats are hurting themselves. The last 2 turnovers have led to touchdowns for Coronado. And right now it looks like a totally different ball game than it did just 5 minutes ago.
And I just thought of Super Bowl 16. Cincinnati and San Francisco. It was 17-0. The Niners were on top. Just a few seconds were left in the half. Ray Wershing kicks off just like Will Steinman did, a little squibber down there. And someone for the Bengals didn't handle it. And the 49ers recovered. They got a field goal right before they have to go up 20-0. That was insurmountable. And Coronado does better than that. They get a touchdown. Steinman keeps it on the ground. And Benny Jones gets it. And that will be the end of the first half. big ovation by the Thunderbird fans for this Coronado team. Heavy underdogs and trailing 15-6. We'll be back with halftime entertainment and some statistics.
123, 6 first downs for Central, 8 first downs for Coronado. The big stat, though, turnovers. They've been costly for Central. 3 turnovers. Coronado with just 1 turnover today.
The Bobcats get the ball first. They'll be going left to right. They trail 15-6. And Will Steinman will try and belt it down there. Aubrey Mitchell and Ronald Branch waiting to make the return. It's Aubrey Mitchell, gets this one cleanly, picks it up across the 20, 25, hit hard and down at the 30. Jody Nally, he's more than just a tailback.
Oh, was that hit? Jody Nally still pumped up from that last-minute touchdown Coronado got in the first half. He said hello to Aubrey Mitchell.
We are headed for, unless the Bobcats make this comeback, we are headed for a big upset. 15-6 here as we start the third quarter. Coronado considered the 4th best among the 16 Class 5A teams in the El Paso area. Elliot Bowman with 1 back, 3 wide receivers, options, pitch to Benny Jones. And Benny Jones runs through Jordan Fisher and gets 6 yards. It's the first time they've used the option without using Benny Jones as a dive back.
Yeah, that's the loaded option that we saw Coronado run in the first half. No one's there to pick up Jones on the quick pitch. He had 38 yards rushing, the leading rusher in the game in the first half.
It's been futility for El Paso teams against San Angelo Central. 6 meetings in history. Central has won every time. More of a historical perspective after this play. Jones and Bowman. Bowman ends up with it and twists and turns and moves forward. He might have a first down at the 41. Mike Smith with the tackle.
Bowman did the best to get something out of nothing there because Jacob Jordan looked like he had really messed up the play. He knifed in to the mesh point. Looked like it wasn't going to be much of a play, but Bowman is up near the first down yard. In fact, he does have a first down.
Generally speaking, El Paso schools have futility against teams from District 4-5A. Coronado lost every single year to Odessa Permian from 1973 until 1987. So they would love a win against a team from District 4-5A. Bowman to Jones, quick pop, first down and more. And the Bobcats decide to keep it on the ground here opening the second half. It looks like a good strategy. They're doing everything soundly so far.
Whatever Coach Gandy had to say at halftime, it's working. There seems like a sense of urgency on the Bobcats' part. This is just a simple play right up the middle. Benny Jones, you can see why he amassed nearly 1,000 yards in the season. He's got quick feet and he runs very hard.
Coming into the game, Benny needed 59 yards to go over 1,000 for the season, and he's probably very close to that right now. Gets 3 or 4 more going up the middle, and Brian Miles drags it down.
Talk about El Paso. The team's not doing well in the playoffs against the teams from Districts 3 and 4-5A. Last night, El Paso Eastwood hammered 61-8 by the Mojo. Odessa Permian has been kicking sand in the face of El Paso teams for many, many years.
Permian, after 2 playoff games, is outscoring its opponents 122-8.
Look out.
Glad the Bobcats don't have to face them. A botched option. Bowman pitched it back. Benny Jones had fallen down, and all he could do was recover the ball, retreating back into his own territory at the 44, snowed under. And all the good work Central has done on the first few plays of that drive, they take the big loss, and now it'll be 3rd and 19.
It's a loaded option. Again, they got pressure in on Elliot Bowman. Again, he's a young kid. He's a sophomore. Hasn't had a lot of experience running the option. It's all timing. And when somebody busts through and messes up his timing, we've seen a couple of errant pitches, and it's cost Central so far today.
Coronado looks hungry. That hard hit on the kickoff, the hard hit on the previous play. They're hungry to win. It's their 3rd straight year in the playoffs, and they want to get past the second round. Bowman looked like he wanted to pass, now keeping, and can't get through the wave of tacklers. Josh Evans and Jacob Jordan ride him out of bounds, and it should be a punting situation for the Bobcats.
It almost looked to me like he was had thoughts of running the whole way and maybe pitching to his fullback there. He wasn't available. I tell you what, one thing I do like what Coach Gandy has done is putting Elliot Bowman in the shotgun, taking the pressure off, going back for the young sophomore. He's already looking back, and he can see the downfield and see his receivers right from the snap of the ball.
David Johnston stands at his 39 on a 4th and 11. It bounces. This could be disaster it is. Down goes Johnson, and Coronado gets it with great field position. Reining in on him, Joe Rosillo.
We talked about turnovers. This may not go down in the books as a turnover, but it's a costly play. Coronado's going to end up with great field position again. This time a special teams mistake, as we saw a special teams mistake just before the end of the first half. Coronado has not gone on long drives today, but when they've gone, they've had good field position. They've cashed in.
Yeah, the shortest of drives at the end of the first half to get that touchdown and make it 15-6. And what momentum they had then has not wavered. In fact, they have a bigger wave of momentum. Pena keeps, has a pitch man to go to, but instead turns it up, and what a good choice he made inside the 30.
That's pure athletic ability by Gabe Pena. That play should have been stopped in the backfield. He turns it into about a 9-yard gain for Coronado. He's running the option. In fact, I think he runs through about 4 or 5 Bobcat tacklers here. He should be stuck right there in the backfield for a loss. He turns it up, eludes 2 or 3, 4 more guys. It's a nice run by Gabe Pena.
Missed tackle by the pincher got it all going. It could have been a 2-yard loss. They measure, and the Thunderbirds have another first down. 8:20 left. Here in the third quarter, they're up 9 points and looking for more.
I would think right now, Coach Brooks has been pretty conservative in his play calling with the lead and good field position. I think this ball's going to stay on the ground.
It just may. Brooks, we talked about the hunger of his players. He's got to be hungry. He's the coach of Coronado from 1977 until now. So he endured a lot of that Permian domination as they give it to Nally up the middle, 4 more yards. In 92, Coronado went 7-4. They were their third in District 1-5A with a record of 5-2 in those league games. So this was not expected at all, and it seems like it's about to get worse unless the Bobcat defense can really get tough.
It's been such a long dry spell. It's almost an inferiority complex the city of El Paso has when it comes to high school football and playing the San Angelos and Odessas and those schools.
They give it to Nally. Effective running, and that won't be a first down, but it will create a 3rd and short. And they changed up the formation. They had 2 receivers over on the far side. Michael Cooper and Damon Tanner got the attention going that way. They even started the flow of the play that way, and back came Nally the other way.
See, with the lack of a dominant runner with Caleb Quinn out, Don Brooks has done a good job of shuffling Evans and Nally in and out at tailback.
Chad Bishop made that tackle, and now they keep it on the ground up the middle in no host, short gain. And that may call for another measurement. If not, it would be 4th and very short.
He's going to be short on this one. They're going to have to decide whether Will Steinman comes on or whether they go for it.
Seem to have a lot of confidence in the offensive front. They do appear to be ready to go for it. And the clock is working for them, 6:42. Way out to the far side, Brian Chesney. They give it to Nally, and this is going to be very close. The Bobcats may have come up with the big play they needed to get the ball back and maybe turn the tide. They're not even going to have to measure that one. It will be first down Bobcats. They take over.
I don't think Coronado got back to the line of scrimmage on that play. Good old smash mouth football did not work on that play for the T-Birds. Also an illegal procedure call against Coronado. Of course, San Angelo Central will decline that and take over right at the 20-yard line.
Now there's plenty of time left. The deficit, thanks to the Bobcat defense, is still just 9. 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter. They were doing a lot of good things before they had the big loss on the option that didn't work on that previous drive. You can see the field's drying out a little bit. In fact, footing hasn't been a problem, even though it is damp down there. In the middle of the field on the crown, it's a little lighter where it's evaporated. Bowman straight drop back. Rolls left, he will keep. Hit hard by Cy Williams, driven back after he got it to the 26. And Bowman looked like he was hurt a little bit, limping just a bit as he goes back to the huddle.
It looked like Bowman was locked on Ryan King, who was split left. He wanted him. Pretty good coverage by cornerback Joe Rosillo, though, and good decision by the sophomore to pull it down, pick up 5-6 yards, leave themselves in good position on second down.
And good protection by the Bobcat line. He just couldn't throw it because King was covered. Give up the middle to Jones. Not much there. They needed 4 for the first down. He got about 2 of it, so it'll be 3rd down and a long 2.
Jacob Jordan doing a good job of crashing the mesh point. It was a good decision by Bowman to hand off because Jordan was there ready to smack Bowman had he not handed it off to his back.
4 wideouts. They had been using a tight end for a couple of plays. And it's Jones bouncing outside. First down. Good play. Very effective. Brent Batt dragged him down. And Jones has to be closing in on that 1,000-yard mark for the season.
Good trap block by David Reddy there. But Jones had 38 yards in the first half. I would say he's come close to that total so far early in the second half. They don't have any points on the board, but they have been moving the ball. Just hurt themselves with the errant pitch on the option on the last possession.
We're inside 5 minutes left in the third quarter. The Coronado fans very enthusiastic here. It's starting to get a little chillier. Draw play Jones. Oh, he is in jail. Micah Fields leads the charge. Joe Rosillo also there, and that's a big first down loss. And there goes some of the offensive options with the Bobcats play calling.
Micah Fields, 215-pound junior. We've talked about him throwing some key blocks on offense. There he comes up with a nice play on defense and throws San Angelo Central for about a 6-yard loss.
Injury to one of the Coronado players. It's the left arm of, is that Rosillo? Oh, he's in some pain.
I believe it is Joe Rosillo.
I don't know that he's their best receiver. Maybe Brent Batt. That's who it is, Brent Batt. He's their backup fullback. They gave Jones forward progress on the loss, so it's 2nd and 15, and the play is blown dead as Bowman drops back. They don't need to create a 2nd and 20 for themselves, but they have with a false start.
A lot of times what happens is your whole offensive unit is so used to Ben Montgomery, and the way he calls the cadence, it's a little different. You hear Elliot Bowman up there, and once in a while that causes confusion. Not only does it draw teams offsides on defense, it also can create some movement on the offensive line.
And the Coronado band is playing. That doesn't help.
Does not help.
So if he was trying to change the play, then tough to make yourself heard.
I have a feeling that Coronado band may be playing the rest of the game.
Movement, but no flags. Bowman, no one there. Kind of like that interception play in the first half. King turned in. The pass was thrown out.
It looked like some miscommunication. It looked like Bowman looking for King to run a deep out. Here he is against Michael Cooper. He's got some help deep. And there's Ryan King. Oh, he was going to run a deep out. He just slipped. Didn't have a chance to get to the football.
All right. The flaw in that play was not miscommunication. They had the pattern right, and there is some evidence that the field is wet. And now it's 3rd and forever for the Central offense. They keep a tight end into block. Bowman throws short, way short of the first down as the catch is made by Benny Dupree. And they'll have to call on the defense one more time to get the ball back.
Great catch by Dupree, unfortunately short of the first down. That would have been maybe a play to run on 2nd down to get some of that yardage back. It's tough to ask a sophomore to come in 3rd and 21 and pick up all that yardage on one pass. Again, it's a great catch by Dupree. Unfortunately for Central, it's well short of the first down.
And Johnston's averaging only 30.6 yards per punt. It would be good if he could get off the season best right here. That is one of his better punts. And it chased Pena all the way back to his 28. He returns it about 5 yards to the 33. He will be back. The Bobcats are in a pickle. It's 15-6 with 3:10 left in the third. 5-yard return by Pena, who's at the controls for the Thunderbirds. Central defense needs to do it again. Second man through, Josh Evans gets about 4 yards off left tackle. Running behind Brian Miles, Jason Holton, Aubrey Mitchell, Michael Baker make the tackle.
Aubrey Mitchell's been active today at pitcher. He made a nice play to chase that down for only about a 2-yard gain for Coronado, and I'm sure Don Brooks is perfectly content to run a little clock here. 2:45 to go in the third quarter. He has a 9-point lead, and I'm sure that ball's not going to be the air unless it's a third and long situation.
Brooks, one of two very winning coaches. His career record, 105 wins, 62 losses, and 3 ties, 7 playoff seasons. Dan Gandy of Central has won 180 games, lost 70, and 9 ties. Another aborted play on 2nd and 2. Have play clocks here at the Sun Bowl? I don't see any.
Not in operation for this game. Too much time taken by Coronado, and they want to keep the ball moving and keep the clock moving. That's not what they want to do right now.
The Bobcats had 2 interceptions in the first half, but only one of them counted. The other one was called back. Benny Jones in at the near side pincher for Aubrey Mitchell. Joe Rosillo is the wide out near side, one-on-one with Derek Lopez, and Ronald Branch has Brian Chesney over on the other side. Pena fakes, drops back, has time, throws, and incomplete. Good coverage by Lopez on Rosillo.
Joe Rosillo, the guy who had the big game last week against Hanks, about 150 yards receiving and a pair of touchdowns. Nice safe pattern there by Gabe Pena. He threw it deep. It wasn't going to be completed. It certainly wasn't going to be intercepted. A good coverage by Central.
Now this is the situation. We didn't expect him to pass on 2nd and long, but 3rd and long, we have to assume he will pass, or else he's content just to punt the ball back. Fake draw. Benny Jones in on Pena and has the sack. The Bobcat defense does what it needs to do.
Big play by Jones. Not only does he keep Coronado from getting a first down, but he pins the T-Birds deeper into their own territory. So it looks like the Bobcats are going to get decent field position out of this exchange of possession.
And Benny Jones, following the football celebration trend, you make a big play, you take your helmet off so everyone can see your face.
Of course, he knows this game's going back to St. Angelo on television. He wants everyone to get a good look at his face. Great play by Jones right in on Pena. Not much of a block thrown there. Big play for the Bobcats.
Pena got the punt away. Ryan King is bringing it back across the 50, 45, 41 man to beat. It's Pena. He gets away, and Ryan King will score. No flags. What a huge play by the senior as the Cats were down 9, and now they cut 6 points off the lead.
Talk about a momentum changer. Now this game takes on a different complexion. Much different than what's been going on the past quarter or so. Big play by King. 63-yard punt return, and just like that, the Bobcats can pull within 2 points rather with a successful PAT here. And the man with a shot to get him, Gabe Pena, the punter. He didn't pull him down.
Ryan King with some great moves. Aside from the quarterbacks, Ben Montgomery and Elliott Bowman, there's no one on this team who's made more big plays. He holds for David Johnston. Important extra point. This time it's good. 15-13, and now the Bobcats have put themselves in a position where a field goal gets them the lead. 1:12 left in the third. We have an exciting one for you. 15-13, Coronado on top. Last week, Amarillo Tascosa double covering him, taking him away as a pass receiving option. And Coronado's been doing a good job covering him this week too, but they didn't stop him on that punt return, a big play that makes it almost a brand new ball game. And Pena, who missed the tackle on the kickoff away to deep safety, he's not the one to get the ball though. It's Damon Tanner. Now he gives it back to Pena, and he's got a good return going across the 45 and tumbles to the 47. And just barely saving the touchdown. 75. Or Michael Johnston saving the touchdown along with Kyle Gould.
Michael Johnston doing what Gabe Pena was not able to do on the punt, saving a touchdown. Gabe Pena has clear sailing of Michael Johnston, doesn't lower his head and stick his helmet in there. Coming up right here, Pena goes up and over, but the Coronado T-Birds have good field position.
Pena keeps on the option. He's hit hard by Aubrey Mitchell, but falls the way he wanted to, 3 yards forward. to create 2nd and 7. The Bobcat defense fired up. You can sense the momentum. Benny Jones got the sack right before the punt. King brings it all the way back, but Coronado responds with that good kickoff return.
What Coronado needs right now is a first down or two to kind of, quiet the momentum here and get something sustained going again.
Well, the Coronado band, at least they're being fair. They're playing while their offense is on the field. Jody Nally, 4-yard gain. And there are a lot of people that have been here at Coronado for a long time as clock winds down here near the end of the third quarter. There's a look at Aubrey Mitchell, who made that strong hit on Gabe Pena on the first down of this series. And the clock is at 6. And the Thunderbirds probably won't get this play underway before the end of the quarter. Time has expired. 15-3. And we have a lot more drama than we expected. T-Birds on top by 2. We'll be back with the final 12 minutes after this. It's 15-13. Thunderbirds on top as we start quarter number 4. Big third down play. Pena rolls out and hits Cooper. And that will not be good enough for a first down. A flag has fallen in the flat over here on the near side.
But we have a flag stop made by number 7, Ronald Branch.
Ronald Branch made Cooper pay for it. The officials discuss it. This call goes against the Cats. First down for Coronado.
Tough break for Central. They had stopped Coronado on downs. We're going to take over possession. Hurt themselves with an offsides penalty. Coronado keep the ball. That'll be a first down, I believe. Yes, it will be a first down for Coronado.
After all this futility for the El Paso schools against the schools from Midland, Odessa, San Angelo, and Abilene, it would be very sweet for Jack Quarles, the offensive coordinator of this Coronado team, who started this program. He was a head coach back in '66. So he's seen it all. And he may be seeing a change in the way things have gone year after year. Jody Nally nailed Rondrick Bowman, who didn't start this game, but he's really making his presence known.
Coronado tries to run the trap again. It's worked fairly well for him today. This time it doesn't work. Micah Fields stuffed in the backfield. Forget about it, Jody Nally. You're not going anywhere. Big play on first down by Central.
The Bobcat defense has done what it needed to do in the second half, aside from giving up that offside penalty and allowing Coronado a first down. Chad Bishop blitzing, flushes Gabe Pena out of the pocket, and he throws complete. It's Hinojos for a short game. He fumbled, but after the play was ended, and that will get them back to a situation a little more makeable, 3rd and 9.
The pitcher, Aubrey Mitchell, loses containment. Pena, a good athlete, gets outside of containment. Now, he throws for the short game, but if he had looked downfield, Michael Cooper had broken deep about the 20-yard line. If he could have launched it to him, he was open. Easy for us to spot up here in the booth. Hindsight is always 20/20 by announcers.
It's amazing when I go to a game, I enjoy sitting in the higher seats because you can see plays developing, and it sure makes it look easy to spot receivers. But when there's someone breathing down your neck, it's a different story. Complete to the tight end, Brian Batt, but he's pushed back before he can get the first down.
Little hot route to the tight end. He was open, but good recovery by the Bobcat secondary to stop Batt before he gets a first down. First hit made by Brent Johnston. He had help. It's going to be 4th and short, 4th and about 2 for Coronado. Looks like the T-Birds will go for it.
Derek Lopez making the tackle. 4th and 2. They're too far away to punt, or I should say they're too close to punt, and they're too far away to try a field goal. So here is the biggest play of the game with 9:36 left and Coronado up by 2. It's Nally, no first down. For the second time in the second half, the Bobcat defense has stopped Coronado on a 4th and short running play.
It's like Benny Jones was in it. This was good old power football. 2 backs leading through the hole for Jody Nally, but it's still not going to be enough. Good play there by Benny Jones to avoid the block from the pincher position and get into Jody Nally's legs. He had some help in a big play by the Bobcats. They take over on downs at their own 34-yard line.
The chief job of a pitcher is go in there and hit the quarterback, but he has the discretion. If you see the ball handed off, and you always expect the ball to be handed off in a short yardage situation like that, you can go ahead and forget about the quarterback. And Benny Jones, as quick as he is, made the play. Reverse to King. He could throw this ball. Throws it back to Bowman. First down and out of bounds at the Bobcat 45. Ryan King, we know he has a good arm. In fact, we were told if Bowman happens to go down to an injury and the Bobcats need help at quarterback, that's where Ryan King would go. I've watched this kid for a long time as a Little League pitcher, and I know he has the arm.
Hey, it's the fourth quarter. It's not time to be conservative. You're down by 2 points. Dan Gandy knows he needs to open it up a little bit. This is a nice play back to Elliott Bowman. Of course, he's athlete enough, a great receiver all year long. He's athlete enough to get the first down.
And that wasn't designed to send someone deep. King didn't look at anyone deep. He went out to Bowman the whole way. Benny Jones, quick trap. Dragging Josh Evans down inside the 40. Another first down, and the Central offense, when it isn't stopping itself, is doing the right things here in the second half.
Good point. And when it's not stopping itself, it's been very effective all day. It's controlled the field between the 20s, but turnovers have hurt. Benny Jones having a big day. I got to say, he's up closer, probably over the 1,000-yard mark for the season.
I'm sure he is, and in 12 games to get over 1,000 yards, especially on a team that passes most of the time, is a major accomplishment. Bowman keeps it, and Jacob Jordan ruined things in the backfield, so that's no gain on first down.
Jacob Jordan's been very active, spent a lot of time in the Central backfield. Made a big play that time. Stuffed out a possible gain. It'll be 2nd and 10, no gain at all on that play.
You'd think maybe the Coronado band would be tired by now.
It's the fourth quarter. They're pumped, too.
Go back in the alley. Take a break, boys. Extra interior lineman to block for the Bobcats, 3 wide receivers. King is over here on the near side. Whistle blows as the play gets underway.
We're going to have a little illegal procedure. Looked like Benny Jones may have been too quick off the ball from his spot in the backfield.
Okay in Canadian football,
Right.
Not okay down here.
We're a long way from that border.
Long way. But we're not far from the other border. We can see Juarez from here. In fact, a lot of it is blowing in.
Yep. Looked like maybe some movement on the line. It also looked like Benny Jones was a little quick getting off the ball.
2nd and 15. Bowman keeps, no one to pitch to, nowhere to run. Mike Smith throws him back.
Not many options on that play for Elliott Bowman. The dive was taken care of, and Mike Smith at the outside linebacker stayed at home and had his responsibility. He strings it out and takes on Elliott Bowman. No gain. In fact, Elliott Bowman will lose 2 yards on that play. It's going to bring up 3rd and long. Nice play by Miller in the Coronado defense.
This may be the biggest offensive play of the game. 7:30 left as the clock runs, and it's 3rd and 15 for the Cats. Straight drop back by Bowman. And he's going to keep it. Not nearly enough for the first down. The line of scrimmage will be the 42, and they're in a similar situation to what Coronado was facing. Too close to the end zone to punt, probably, and definitely too far out for a field goal.
This is an excellent open field tackle by Mike Smith, the outside linebacker. Elliott Bowman's a great athlete. He can run with the football. He gets loose. I'm going to tell you something, folks. It is not easy to make an open field tackle on a guy like Elliott Bowman. Smith stays right with him, hauls him down well short of the first down.
The Bobcats left their offense on the field for a few seconds, but now they have sent in David Johnson to punt. And Coronado is not sending anyone back to return it. They're watching for a fake. Now Rosillo drops back in a position to receive the punt. It's high, it's heading for the end zone, and it's getting a good central bounce, and they kill it at the 2. Chad Bishop is there. And the way the Central defense has been playing the last couple of series, they have to like their chances, forcing Coronado to start so deep.
That's a big play at a big time. Chad Bishop downfield. They got a great bounce here. Go sideways. Now Coronado is backed up at its own 1.5-yard line. still plenty of time on the clock, 7:09. Remember, Central only needs 3 points, only needs a field goal to take the lead.
You can't fault Rosillo for the decision he made. Most coaches will say, stand on the 10, don't back up.
He made the right decision. Unfortunately, the ball did not bounce right for Coronado. Bounced very well for Central.
9 times out of 10, a ball like that is going to go into the end zone. So here's Gabe Pena. No margin for error. Up the middle, Oscar Lopez. No gain.
I believe it was Aubrey Mitchell from Pincher attacking the mesh point. He is going straight for the football like a shark, and he's doing a heck of a job all afternoon.
Damon Tanner brings the play in, a long run to make. As Coronado operates from within the shadow of its own goalpost, and now it's dueling bands. The Bobcat band and the Coronado band playing simultaneously. It's a cacophony of sounds here in the Sun Bowl. Power eye for Coronado. Second man through is Josh Evans, and oh, he is hit. That was almost a safety. Who got him first?
That was Aubrey Mitchell. We've been talking about him all afternoon. He has played outstanding when he has come out. Benny Jones has played very well, and Aubrey looks like he's been watching a lot of NFL on Sunday afternoons, maybe some Deion Sanders, but that was a big play, very nearly a safety. Now Coronado's in big trouble. What do? 3rd and long, and you're backed up on your own 1-yard line.
Interesting you say Deion Sanders because he does have an Atlanta Falcons windbreaker, and after that play, I think he was trying to say something like, get on with your bad self, or something like that. Quarterback sneak by Pena. Nowhere, maybe a yard, and now they'll have to punt, and Pena will have his heels right next to the end line.
We may look back when this game's over and say that punt that was down at the 1.5-yard line may have been the biggest play of the second half, maybe of the game, because it looks like San Angelo Central is going to get great field position out of all this. And as you say, Pena's going to have to be very careful not to step on the end line here.
Big John Smith got a lot of press in Texas Football Magazine early in the season, one of those super team picks. And early in the season, he didn't play like it, but lately he has. A flag goes down as Pena against the punt away. Ronald Branch very courageously fields at the 30, and he's hit right away by Brian Batt. Let's check the flag. We have a lot of things to check out. Ronald Branch still down, and the flag. Offside Bobcats. That's not good, but it's not disastrous because Coronado had more than 5 yards to go for the first down, and they will, we figure, punt it again.
You would think they would. Gabe Pena rather only got up a 29-yard effort. Looks like they're going to decline it. Central has great field position at the 30-yard line.
I guess that Ryan King punt return made him think we don't want to give him another chance to put some moves on.
Now I think they're sending the punt team back on the field. They will re-kick. A good decision by Don Brooks. Right now, field position, very important. 5 minutes, 14 seconds to go. And again, Central needing only a field goal to take the lead.
We're set up for a great finish here, and stay tuned for Dallas Cowboys football. They take on the Phoenix Cardinals live from Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. We're here at the Sun Bowl in El Paso. And it looks like we're going to have a dramatic finish. Branch appears to be okay. He's back there in twin safety with Ryan King. Clean snap for Pena. He gets it away. King will return from the 42. Changes direction twice and runs to his friend, the sideline. Art Gonzalez drove him out. It's 15-13 Thunderbirds ahead of our Bobcats with 5:04 remaining. With extra points, if the Thunderbirds had made one of their extra points and had a 16-13 lead, they had the option of maybe taking the safety on that punt attempt. Trap to Benny Jones, gets through the first wave of tacklers and has a first down inside the 25. Jordan Fisher makes the tackle, and that's an excellent play to take the pressure off Bowman. He's thinking, I'm a sophomore, less than 5 minutes to go, and we have to score to win.
I was just going to make a point that the difference in the punts was 12 yards, but Benny Jones just wiped out the advantage Coronado had. They are now inside the 25-yard line, knocking on the door.
The tight end in for Central, 3 wide receivers. Jones, the lone setback. He takes the pitch. Tries to cut back, but Eric Colasar runs him down. Mike Smith was the contained man. And now let's think field goal. A field goal will win it for the Bobcats as they trail 15-13. But David Johnson, though he's 1 for 1 in field goal attempts, is 0 for 2 in extra points. So it's not something in which they have complete confidence.
Comes the loaded option again. The nice play on Bowman. He has to pitch right away. Benny Jones wrapped up by Mike Smith. Right now, it would be about a 38-yard field goal.
4:11, clock running. Jones again, up the middle, breaking tackles and has a first down inside the 10. Jordan Fisher and a weary Mike Smith in on the tackle.
Benny Jones is saying, forget to talk about the field goal, boys. I'm going to take it in. He looks like he's getting stronger as the game's going on. His second half, much better than the first half. He's ripping off some big yardage at Coronado's expense right now. And again, they're inside the 10. And right now, he would be getting close to just simply a chip shot field goal.
More dueling bands here at the Sun Bowl, and on the far side, the Central fans, whose numbers appear to have grown to about 400, many are standing as the Bobcats have a first and goal. Jones gets it. Jacob Jordan in quickly, almost disrupted the exchange between Bowman and Jones.
Yeah, Jordan's been in the backfield most of the day. Central's had much better success running to its right rather than the left because Jordan is hitting the mesh point and hitting it hard, and he held that play to about a 1-yard gain.
Bowman over, quick conversation with the coaches, calling a second down and goal at the 8 play. Benny Jones very quick at hitting the hole, and he's a good guy to have here in these goal line situations. Timeout Central, I guess they didn't have the right people out there. Benny Dupree was the one who called the timeout, and I think they had one too few wide receivers. I see Andrew Graves and Dupree and Ryan King. Maybe that wasn't the problem.
Well, now if you're Coach Dan Gandy, you also want to worry about a little bit about clock management. There's 3:11 to play in the fourth quarter. You're down by 2 points. I know you want to score and take the lead one way or another. That's number one. But you also want to think about not leaving Coronado a heck of a lot of time if you do score. So if they can run 2 plays here and maybe have to settle for a field goal, they might be able to run another minute and a half off the clock here and not give the T-Birds a lot of time. And remember, T-Birds don't have a lot of big strike capability through the air. They have not been able to sustain long drives today. Central can take the lead and then force Coronado to drive the length of the field. Dan Gandy will take his chances with that.
Coronado's been very stubborn. Central has been determined because Gandy is out there checking with Brooks. He wants to know what Brooks is checking with the officials about, comparing notes, maybe comparing timeouts. The scoreboard shows us that the Bobcats have 2 timeouts left and that the Thunderbirds have all 3 of theirs remaining, and they may just need them.
Maybe checking one thing, could be one of 2 things. Could be there's a question of how much time is left if some time is taken off, or it could be a question of timeouts. They're checking to make sure who has 3 and who has 2, make sure they have the right amount of timeouts.
A meeting of the minds at the 8-yard line. Hope you're enjoying our coverage on KLST Sports. This is the Bobcats, who made it to the Final Four of Division I 5A last year, trying to do the same thing, but they're meeting a mighty big challenge here in El Paso. The Bobcat defense has really kept the team in this game, giving up just 15 points. And remember, 6 of those 15 points came on a 1-yard drive. You can't really fault them for that. In the first 6 games of the season, the Bobcat defense allowed 34.16 points a game. In the last 5 games, just 16.5. Here come the Cats. 2nd and goal at the 8. Bowman fakes to Jones, keeps it, and scores! What strength he showed.
Great play by Elliott Bowman. Great fake by Benny Jones. You know, he faked out Coronado. He faked me out. I thought he had the ball. And Elliott Bowman with a good second effort to break a tackle at the 5-yard line. He gets in with 3:06 to play. The Bobcats are up by 4 with a chance to make it 5 or 6 if they go for 2.
Good block on Eric Colasar by center Greg Hayes. Colasar's really been in the backfield a lot the last few plays.
Give Benny Jones credit. He really sells the fake there. Elliott Bowman breaks the tackle of Jordan Fisher at the 5 and goes in for the go-ahead touchdown.
Tony Tiarina, number 71, didn't because it was against the rules, but Looked like he was prepared to carry Elliott Bowman into the end zone if he had to. The Bobcats are going for two here. Elliott Bowman is not the kind of kid you look at and say he could just shrug off guys that weigh a lot more than he does, but he did on that play.
He showed outstanding poise here in the second half, leading a come from behind charge by the Bobcats, only a sophomore.
Now the Bobcats were ready to go for two from the 3-yard line. Now an illegal procedure penalty pushes them back to the 8, but they leave the offense on the field. They lead 19-15 right now. If they get two, then they would force Coronado to have to make their extra point to beat them. Bowman rolls out to the right. He's looking at everybody. Keeping it. Rolling and finally throwing for the end zone. Caught by King for the 2-pointer.
But give Ryan King credit. Outstanding presence of mind. He's the senior's been doing it all year. He knew Bowman was in trouble, and he came back toward the front of the end zone to make the reception. Big play by the senior Ryan King.
Hold on. 3:05 to go, and the Cats are up 21-15. And Coronado's played an excellent game today, so I know they have something left. Replay of the 2-pointer.
Well, Bowman in trouble. Good athletic ability to keep the scramble going. Now, Ryan King, if he doesn't make a beeline for the front of the end zone, if he continues to run his pattern parallel to the goal line, this pass is not completed. He knows Bowman's in trouble. Look at King come back and dart toward the front of the end zone. Big play by Ryan King. That's a big 2-point conversion because now the T-Birds need 7 points to win. As we've seen, the extra point is not automatic today.
Good discipline by the central offensive line going across. Tony Tiarina, Brandon Waters, Greg Hayes, David Reddy, Jonathan Casey, and Brandon Waters showing discipline, not going downfield, because if they'd gone downfield on that play, it nullifies it. And good job by King to come back to the ball, and Elliott Bowman, Fran Tarkenton Jr. buying time for himself. Squib kick by Johnson is mishandled by Nally. Now they run the fake play, but this time the Bobcats aren't fooled. Pena ends up with it. Rondrick Bowman's there waiting for him. And so is Ty Speaker. Flag down on the play.
We may have an illegal forward handoff there, more of a forward lateral. I think when Jody Nally fumbled the ball rather, he pitched it forward to the handoff man, and that is not a legal play.
It's a half the distance to the goal line penalty, takes it back to the 7-yard line. So the Coronado team, needing a touchdown and an extra point to win, has 2:58 to do it, and they have to go 93 yards. We're talking about the Bobcat defense in the last 5 games giving up just 16.5 points a game, less than half what they had given up over the first 6 games. And you throw out that 49-21 loss to Odessa Permian, and 4 of their last 5 games, they averaged giving up just 8.5. First down pass misses for Joe Rosillo.
Right now, the Bobcats will be content to bend, not break. They have 93 yards to work with right now, and Coronado needs to get in the end zone. Again, they are not a very proficient passing team, although last week against Hanks, they launched the ball 20 times.
I look for them to launch it on every play from here on out. 21-15 Bobcats. 2nd and 10 Coronado from its 3. Gabe Pena throws, and there is Rosillo. Gets it out to the 29, and Derek Lopez stands him up.
We talked about the Hanks game last week. Rosillo was the guy on the receiving end of most of Pena's passes. He caught 150 yards worth of passes, 2 touchdowns. Makes a nice catch here, and Coronado has the big gain up to the 30-yard line.
Bobcat injury on the field, so an official timeout. Thunderbirds with 3 timeouts left, 2:46 still on the clock, down by 6. An amazing arm strength by Gabe Pena, who threw kind of off his back foot, kind of leaning to the side, and he had plenty of heat on it.
3 full timeouts left for Coronado. They have to go 70 yards, 2:46 remaining. It can be done, but as I said, the Bobcats simply are content to bend and not break here.
Derek Lopez, the injured player, was the corner on the other side of the field. Cirillo lined up on the near side, made the catch, and Derek came over to stop him. If he got by Lopez, it could have been off to the races. Rick Fox, the trainer, assisting him. Also Larry Cloninger, defensive co-coordinator. I coined a new word, co-coordinator.
Co-coordinator.
2 prefixes, same word.
Too many syllables for me, Roger.
Here comes Coronado. 1st and 10 from the 29. Pena, quick drop throws, and it's complete to Art Gonzalez. And that's close to another first down, and I knew I'd have no problem remembering that number 81 was Art, because that's Art Monk of the Washington Redskins.
Quick slant to Gonzalez here. Yeah, that's right. Gonzalez, he picks up the first down. Good thing about this, well, they're going to measure right now, but it stops the clocks for the measurement. And it will be a first down for Coronado.
They're showing they can pass the ball when they have to. And they still haven't used any of their timeouts. 2:30 left. They break the huddle. And the chains aren't yet set. Now they are. Clock running at 2:28. Rosillo over here. Ronald Branch looking at him. Very tight coverage. Straight drop back. Flushed out. John Smith had a shot. Benny Jones finished him off.
Great coverage by Central in the secondary. Gabe Pena looking for 2 receivers, couldn't find anybody. There's a play where Pena should have been smart enough to throw the ball out of bounds and kill the clock instead of taking a big loss. He loses 12 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 22. He's looking for 2 receivers, both of them running out patterns, 1 short, 1 deep. Both well covered. Right here, he should have unloaded the ball. He doesn't do it. He takes a very costly sack for Coronado.
And I think that Brooks should have instructed his team to take a timeout. The clock is now down to 1:37, and it's running, and they're facing a 2nd and 22 without much talking about it. Jody Nally slips down after the shovel pass. A break for Central. Jason Holton and Casey Height were there to make the tackle had they needed to, but now Coronado takes a timeout. There's John Smith. You know, it's unfair. Big John, he did most of the work to create the sack on the previous play, but Benny Jones is working pretty hard himself, was the one who gets credit for it.
I'm sure it will be well noted, though, by Dan Gandy and his staff. Don Brooks lets some time run off the clock. Right now, just 1:23 to play. Coronado still has 2 timeouts left, but they are facing 3rd and a whole bunch right now, 3rd and 20.
If Coronado has some kind of gadget play to pull out, well, it might work, but Central's going to be playing very soft. 3rd and 20, they can afford to give up some yards and still force Coronado into a 4th and fairly long. 1:23 to go, 2 timeouts, and Coronado needing a touchdown to win.
Talked about field position. It's been important all second half. Coronado was bad field position here and horrible field position at the 1-yard line, which eventually led to the exchange of punts and the touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown by Central.
Chad Bishop and Brett Johnson both about 15 yards off the line of scrimmage. They're the deepest safeties. And Pena throws. Art Gonzalez has it. That's a gain of about 12. And that'll create a 4th and 7, 8 yards to go. This is the ball game right here. Clock running at 1:06. Coronado huddling and using a lot of valuable time. Damon Tanner just now arriving at the huddle to give the play to Pena. We're inside a minute, 57 seconds left.
That's a big completion, but if they don't make the 4th down here, it'll go for naught. Inside of 50 seconds.
Here's your ball game. Here's Coronado's season down to this play. Pena throws for Rosillo, and he caught the ball. Huge play by Rosillo. Equal possession between him and Derek Lopez, but when that happens, it's the offensive possession. And Coronado still very much alive with 37 seconds left in the ball at the 23.
This is one of those passes when it's thrown. Don Brooks is saying, no, Gabe, no, Gabe. We need 10 yards. We don't need 40. And then he says, yes, Gabe, when Rosillo makes a great catch.
Aubrey Mitchell came in and almost got a sack, but a good job by the Coronado people peeling back to help Pena get the time he needed. He threw on the run, and Derek Lopez was right there. Each man got the ball, but when that happens, the official made the correct call. It belongs to the offense. So on that replay, you see that Derek Lopez had maybe about 75% of the ball.
Possession is 9-10. It looked like Derek Lopez Lopez had the ball, and you can't fault him. Tremendous coverage. It looked like he came down with it. We're going to take another look at it. The officials say Joe Rosillo comes down with it. As you say, if it's a tie, it's going to go to the receiver, Stanley Pena, or Gabe Pena, rather, rolling out. He knows he needs a first down. He didn't need 40 yards, but right now he'll take it.
Now, keep in mind that we didn't conclusively see that Lopez had more of the ball until they had rolled over on one another. So it's who has the ball when they're down. They seem to have equal possession there. And now Rosillo's knee goes down, and then Lopez rolls over with more of the ball than Rosillo had. Now we're back to live action. 23-yard line. Pena, option. Nally in jail. Gets away. And he's running free. A flag is down, keep in mind. But Nally tackled inbounds by Ronald Branch. And the clock is stopped because of the flag.
This is an illegal block or a hold. That's why Jody Nally got free. And it's not only costly because it's going to cost yardage, but it also took, about 10 ticks off the clock. It's going to back Coronado up. It is an illegal block, and this play is coming back.
25 seconds left. And the clock will restart as soon as it's ready for play, unless Coronado uses its last timeout. Here's Derek Lopez, who felt like he had an interception on the previous play. He was right there, but the rule favors the offensive team, and I think the officials made the right call.
This is a costly penalty for Coronado. They now have second and 25 with only 25 seconds to play. They need another big pass from Gabe Pena.
Got 25 seconds. The clock starts to run. Rosillo in motion to the near side. The play's underway. They pitch it out to Nally. He didn't even think about passing it. He didn't get out of bounds. Gary Morgan knocked him down inside the boundary. And now Coronado has to use its last timeout with 12 seconds to go, and I think their only choice now is a couple of Hail Marys.
Don't understand this play call. Now, it was an option. You saw Pena looking downfield. He had the option to throw. Didn't see anybody. But at this point in the game, I think you've got to throw the ball no matter what. You're not trying to run an option with 20 seconds to play and you need 25 yards to pick up a first down. Coronado needs another big play they got from Rosillo just a moment ago, and this time he definitely has to drop back and air it out.
The way the Bobcat defense reacted, there might have been something open deep if Nally had decided to pick it up and throw.
I think the only option to throw there was by Pena, and once he pitched the ball to Nally, it was strictly a running play. Again, no time to be conservative, but Don Brooks has to throw a pass here.
Gary Morgan came out of nowhere to knock him down, and two big plays by Morgan and Ronald Branch to tackle Coronado ball carriers inside the boundary and keep the clock going.
T-Birds have no timeouts left, so any pass they throw, they make a completion. It better be for a first down to stop the chains, or it better be to the sideline if it's not in the end zone.
If they don't make one that goes out of bounds, it has to be for a first down, and they have 22 yards to go to make the first down. And if that happens, they must run up to the line and spike it on first down and stop the clock. Here we go. Probably 2 plays left in the game. Pena trying to pull off a miracle. Throws, and it is almost intercepted by Chad Bishop.
Benny Jones, tremendous pressure on Pena from the pincher position. He had his tight end open down the middle of the field, but he could not get enough on it to get it to him because of the pressure from Benny Jones. Look, you see he's open. Ball should have been picked off, but it's still going to be fourth and very long for Coronado. 7 seconds. This could well be the last play of the game. Benny Jones has played outstanding when he's come in to play at pincher. He's played a great two-way ball game. Coach Dan Gandy.
Unblocked on that play. It's amazing that Pena even got it off. And because he got that ball away and because the Bobcats didn't get the interception, the outcome's still very much in doubt here. 7 seconds, maybe a chance for 2 plays at the end zone. This is a third down play. Caught by Rosillo and out of bounds. Amazing. And now with 3 seconds left, probably one shot from the 17-yard line.
That is not a very high percentage pass for Dan Marino to throw, much less Gabe Pena. And Russillo comes up with another big play. He has been the big play guy the past 2 weeks. And you know what this does? This gives Coronado a shot at the end zone with 3 seconds to go. This is the final play of the game.
Unless there's a defensive penalty.
I stand corrected. Unless there is a defensive penalty. Never say never.
All right, this is kind of fun. I don't hope there is a defensive penalty. We have enough excitement as it is. 3 seconds left. Ball is at 17. Pena will get a chance to get it away toward the end zone. Incomplete. Caught out of bounds by Branch, and the Bobcats hang on to win it 21-15.
They took a shot. Went to their big play guy, Russillo, hanging it up in the air. Maybe he could make a play. No chance this time. Like I said, the Bobcat defense could afford to bend and not break. That's exactly what they did on the game's final drive.
Well, Pena had all the time he needed. Russillo was down in the lower right corner of the field, but Branch was there. Benny Jones at least giving him something else to think about. And this is what he had to do. He had to take a shot, but this ball could not have been caught legally.
Not a bad play by Pena. Didn't have much open. Throw it up. Russillo's make 2 big catches on this drive. Why not hope he can make a third? It didn't happen for Coronado.
Well, see, this is the way we had it planned. We wanted to keep you there. Make sure you watch the whole thing. 21